I want to talk about money because I really want to share one of the most practical things that I did. Now, I've done a lot of mindset work around money. There was definitely a time in my life that my money mindset really affected the ability that I have to bring money into my business. And so I knew that it was something that I really needed to get my head around, but also I understood that it's never about just mindset, it's always about aligned action as well. And this was so important to me in the area of money. So I wanted to share the one thing that I did that made a massive difference in terms of the amount of money that was coming in from my business. It's so simple, you're gonna roll your eyes, honestly. It is simply that I paid attention to what was coming in. I paid attention by looking at what was coming in and planning ahead what my cash flow was going to be. So part of that exercise was to decide, what does my business need? What do I need in terms of my lifestyle? What are my savings goals? What are the things that I know are coming up that need to be paid for? So I needed to set up some sinking funds so that I could always have the money available that I needed. And it really encouraged me to become aware of what I needed. And that is not something that I'd really done before in any major way. And I love a spreadsheet. I don't know about you, but I love a spreadsheet. Honestly, the way that I track my money now is completely different to what used to happen. I used to be scared to go into my bank account and look at it. I honestly did. I would pray and hope that there was enough money to pay what needed to be paid, but a lot of the time I just knew that there wasn't going to be enough, and there was going to be a huge amount of stress around it, and I was probably going to have to borrow, and I just never seemed to have enough. So that was my reality. But when I started really paying attention, my money situation was not great when I started paying attention, but I paid attention to it anyway. And actually, by setting up my own spreadsheet, this felt like something that I was deliberately making progress on. It felt like a project to me, and I think that's important because it was like a mindset shift as well, because it was away from the realm of I've got this habit of being afraid to check my bank account. I didn't have to log into my bank account to do it. I literally had a spreadsheet in front of me, and it said what was going to be coming in. And because there were certain things in my business that I knew I had to pay for annually, that obviously lifestyle stuff, you get to know what subscriptions you have, you get to know what your key lifestyle things are as well. And I put it all on one spreadsheet. Now, some people will certainly, accountants will tell you keep your business expenses separate, blah, blah, blah. And I certainly do that as well. I have a separate spreadsheet for that. But keeping it simple, I wanted it all in one place. And so I wanted to see, because there's a relationship between the money that's coming in and how I was growing my business and the investments that I wanted to make in my business. And also then there was lifestyle stuff that I knew I wanted as well. And, I wanted to have some financial peace around that. There were also at that time debts that I wanted to pay. And I was wanting sort of later than that to make commitment to savings, because obviously the priority was to pay off debt initially. And the weird thing is that the more I actually paid attention to what was coming in, the more I realised I really need to up my game here. There are some things that I can do without here. There are definitely some expenses I could cut, and I could be much more intentional around that, and not be sucked into something without really thinking about it carefully and thinking about whether it aligned to my goals, say to pay off my debts and then to raise my savings and to make some investments, the sort of later down the line. But just by becoming aware of that, I realized, all of those things that I could do on a practical level to change my experience around money. But also I realized, bottom line is I'm not making enough. And so what was I going to do about it? So part of that was literally knowing what I was doing to make money and asking for more of it, and asking for it more of the time. These things are really, really simple. But because I previously had been in that mindset and that I suppose just a habit, just an unhealthy habit of not checking my bank account and just hoping that it would be okay, and kind of knowing that it wouldn't be, and just like feeling a load of guilt around money, that I just started looking at it and I started aligning it to the goals that I had for my life and for my business, which obviously I was doing mindset work on anyway. And it sort of took the fear out of everything, because I felt like I was in control of it and I was moving towards my goals. And some of the things also that I did were like, they were really simple steps. So I set up different accounts for different things. So there were accounts for business expenses, and there were accounts for savings, for example, even though at the time I wasn't saving anything into them. And then I started saving like really small amounts. And it just grew and grew and grew until, you know, I'm really happy with all of that now. And it just continues to grow and to grow. But had I not set the intention to do that, same with my investment portfolio, it's exactly the same thing. But, you know, even a couple of years ago, I didn't have that level of control over my finances. And because I didn't have the control, I also didn't have the peace around it, because I didn't know what was happening and it felt like it was controlling me. So maybe you're like me, maybe you are a very intuitive person, maybe you have a kind of love-hate relationship when it comes to structure and strategy and stuff like that. It's like part of you knows that you need it and you want it, and you can see the benefit of it, and the other part of you really just rails against it and is like, it's not me, I'm, you know, I like to go with the flow, I like to be kind of like just in my thoughts all the time. And you know, I've definitely got those two sides to me, probably in not quite equal measure, I don't think, but it depends on the day. It depends what I'm working on. But I recognise the value of both. Honestly, this is something that will give you so much mental peace if you take some steps to get in control of your finances. So if you're just starting out with that, and if you want some help, do reach out to me, because I've got so many things that I can share. I've also got a course on money mindset and taking some of these practical actions that you can start to do to really change your situation. So I can get you the details of that, but just reach out to me. And yeah, just start being like much more aware around your money. Literally look at it. And that's all I did. Like in the beginning, that is all I did, was look at the situation and not judge it, and just know that it was going to change, and that I had made a commitment to changing it, to being something different. And that was a vast improvement on where I was, which was just kind of like ignoring it and hoping it would get better. I mean, since when did that ever work? So yeah, hope that helps, and yeah, work on it today.